The educational system of our country is not in good shape. 50 years ago, we, by academic standards, academic tests on our students, we were the best in the world. Now, we are at the bottom, on average, across our country. That doesn't mean we don't have some great teachers. We have a lot of great teachers, hundreds of thousands of them. Doesn't mean our students are any worse than they were, but that's the situation. And it has occurred because a political, bureaucratic union elite has redesigned our schools, and they're controlling our schools. And this is not good for our students. Now, every politician, everybody running for political office is for the schools. Everybody's for education. Everybody, you won't find, if you find somebody that's running, well, DeFazio says I'm against the schools, but what's realistic? There are 50 million children in this, or young people going to school in this country right now. And they keep suggesting little marginal improvements, and maybe 10 or 20 years from now it'll be better. Are we going to write off 50 million students now? The worst schools in this country are in Washington, D.C. There are only one school system in the country that the federal government has any constitutional control over. Those are the schools in D.C. There are 50,000 students in those schools. 67% are black, 17% are Hispanic, and 40% don't graduate from school, and the other 60% read at a 5th grade level when they graduate from high school. These are not schools. These are just awful.
Where?
Yeah, they're the worst. And those are the schools run by Congress. The cost of running those schools is $450,000 for each 30-student classroom for 9 months. That money obviously does not reach the classroom. The cost across the country is $300,000 incidentally, and that's not reaching the classroom either. You can imagine giving $300,000 cash to a teacher and saying, please teach 30 students for 9 months. I mean, she could raise her salary, hire an assistant, rent a room, and give you half the money back. It isn't a financial problem. It is a problem that this political union, bureaucratic elite is running those schools. So I decided to entertain DeFazio, and my proposal this election is to close the schools in D.C. for 3 months. And what I want to do, I'm no kidding, I think I could get this through Congress if I was fortunate enough to be elected. I think in June, the D.C. schools should close and everybody should be fired. Then, in the next month, some highly qualified educators should come in, evaluate the teachers, and rehire the teachers. And they'll rehire most of them. They probably have a little deadwood, but most of them are probably great people. Rehire the teachers, then spend the next 2 months creating an entirely new curriculum for those schools that does the job in reading, writing, mathematics, science, history, substantive subjects. Rebuild it to the best curriculum in the country, and then reopen the schools and make the D.C. schools an example of the best schools in the country that might be followed by the states. Now, the states, of course, control their own schools under the 10th Amendment, but I think the other thing Congress should do is encourage the states to put in voucher systems so you have a competition in the schools as well. Now, that can be done. That can be done. But you notice I left something out. We didn't rehire any of the bureaucrats. Only the teachers. The teachers can do the administration. After World War II, my mother and my uncle were both school teachers. And my uncle comes back from the Navy in World War II. He goes back to teaching school in Iowa. He taught a full load of classes, and they gave him a few bucks extra to be superintendent of schools. You don't need these people. And it isn't just a question of money. They're soaking up almost half or more of our education money to pay these non-teachers. But there's a second problem. They don't take the money and go on vacation. They stay in the schools and make it hard to teach. So we need to get rid of them. I think our schools, I don't think we should have anybody employed in our schools that's not a teacher and doesn't teach. And then if we want to put $300,000 or $450,000 into the classroom and make these schools the best on earth, I don't mind. But they have to teach our students, and they're not doing it. So I think we should close the D.C. schools. In 3 months, make them into the best schools in the country. Use them as an example to the rest of the country, and it can be done. There's not a thing wrong with those students. It's just a school. Now, DeFazio says the opposite of need. And I don't want to brag, but I want to point out that I do know something about this. I started out tutoring students in high school. I was selected to even teach undergraduates while I was an undergraduate at Caltech. I taught students when I was in graduate school. I was a professor at UC San Diego, and I taught students also at Stanford. College students, undergraduates, graduate students. I've taught, and then my family, we homeschooled, but then we created a curriculum that has provided curriculum and books for 100,000 homeschooled and public school students in this country, K through 12. We really know something about education. Somebody, Fort DeFazio, who was doing town hall the other day, and one guy got up in the front row and he says, "You say Robinson doesn't know anything about education. How come 5 or 6 kids have doctorates?" DeFazio just froze, you know. Didn't know what to say. But the fact is, we know something about it. It's a subject I know something about. It's been half of my life, and I'd like to fix those schools, but not improve them, fix them, because we should not write off 50 million kids that are in those schools now. We shouldn't write off 50,000 DC students, minority students. Those students are getting such a bad education that they are disadvantaged for life. I'll tell you one story that goes with this, then I'll go on to the second subject.